Why didn't Barbie tell me about patriarchy, which, to my understanding, is where men and horses run everything?
These days, traditional masculinity often is the butt of jokes. But research suggests this perceived shift against maleness may be taking a toll.
There's a lot of confusion and pressure and gray area, just trying to figure out like what is right and what isn't.
Today, 50% of men feel society punishes them just for being male. Compared to women, men are 3 times more likely to commit suicide and at triple the risk of becoming dependent on alcohol.
I think men are lost. We don't know how to connect with people. We don't know how to ask for help.
This as men are more isolated than ever. The majority of men report suffering from loneliness. Among men under 30, an incredible 1 in 4 say they have no close friends.
This is a problem. It's, an epidemic. It's something that is affecting almost every young male in some way.
So we gathered these men in their 20s to talk about the mixed messages they get about masculinity and how that impacts their mental health. Jared works in sports marketing. Nelson and Sam are students and frat brothers at the University of Southern California.
Traditionally, men are supposed to be tough. They're supposed to put on this act. They're not really supposed to show their emotions. Me and my friends, we never really talk about how we'd feel.
What about when the opposite sex? Do you feel that you have anxiety around the roles? Like if I make the first move, they're like, who do you think you are? But then they're like, why didn't you make a move?
Overthinking like, oh, should I pay for her coffee? Even though we're friends, is it like, oh, should I open the door? Is it weird to offer her a ride? It's just making you second guess some things now, especially with the current climate we're in.
Do you find, though, that there's a receptive atmosphere for you? Or some men that I talk to say, look, I say it's hard out there, and women go, excuse me, it's been hard for us forever. You should be quiet.
Yeah, there's definitely the resistance aspect. There is just the conflicting messages from society, from our peers, from our parents. It's really hard to kind of figure out what should we be doing?
There have been warlike moves been made.
Experts say this confusion has led to a new wave of supermasculine media figures.
Bring it.
Like Jocko Willink, a former Navy SEAL turned author, podcaster, and entrepreneur. Willink says traditional male qualities like being stoic, competitive, and aggressive that some label as toxic can actually be good. There's so much use of the term toxic masculinity today. Do you think that term is overused, is harmful?
If you take any of these sort of traditional masculine traits and you take them to an extreme, they are toxic. So it's good to be aggressive, but if you're overly aggressive, that becomes bad. It's good to be stoic, but if you're totally emotionless, that's bad. So I think it's very important for us as men to be balanced.
He says men also need more opportunities to connect with each other. That's why Jared joined a national support group called Everyman. Their retreats teach men that being vulnerable is a sign of strength.
It was an extremely powerful experience for me. I saw grown men come to tears, sharing their experiences of what it means to be a man.
Listening and hearing your inner voice, inner critic.
Sam started his own support group at USC. Called the Men's Mental Health Initiative, it gathers male students, many from frats, in a safe space where they can open up about their fears and anxieties.
After meetings, guys will come up and say, I needed this, thank you. And it just goes to show that there's so many hidden emotions that men silenced.
No, as a father, all of us have sons. So happy you did that story, because this is something that we have been talking about quietly for some time. It's really hard rearing boys right now.
It is, and I think the more people talk about it, the more boys have permission to talk about it, and it's different. Teenage boys, boys in their 20s. I have a 26-year-old, a 30-year-old boy. I have brothers who are in their 50s and 60s, and all of them talk quietly about what they're going through and looking for what does it mean to be a good man today? Where do I go? Because so often, many of them talk to their parents, and the parents are like, I don't know, it's a different world.
Yeah, and it's social media, it is really isolating, I think, a lot of these youth.
Yeah, I thought the figure about 1 in 4 say they have no close friends. A lot of them, it's even worse than that. And then they're on, social media, and they think those are their friends. So I think, kind of do more stories like this, look for more opportunities for men and boys to connect, the better off.
I love it. I hope we have more discussions like this.
Yeah, we could do an entire season. That was great.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we're in.
Okay.
Thank you, Maria.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.